The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome, folks, to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, squeezably soft host. As always, we like to come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And with the S&P down 2.5, I think it was down, 6 points at one point. Dow's off 9.5 points. I think it was off 40 at one point. The NASDAQ down 23, kind of the most systemic of that. Crude oil's down 19 cents. Gold's off $6. Silver's off 29 cents. What else do we have out here? Russell 2000 off 1%. So we've got a little bit going on here, so we'll talk about it. But for the most part, this is, at least as far as I can tell right now, the setup to options expiration tomorrow. They're getting a little head start on it, probably because volatility going into the vote on this tax bill at the bottom of last hour. The Speaker of the House came out and started talking about his tax plan, what people did believe and what people didn't believe, some of the disinformation and truth. Sounds to me like he's set his sail on death or dishonor, that it will at least allow them to pass the House. He also went through a lot of the issues with it passing the Senate and the changes that they already made, so that they couldn't get it tied up in the Senate as much as they might. The old saying is the Senate is where bills go to die. And senators, I don't know, they think they got 6 years or 4 years or whatever. They're not in a big hurry. Anyway, a lot of the questions that I had got answered. Is it the tax bill I would want? No. It's heavily weighted to people that don't pay taxes, so I don't know how they get tax cuts. But for the most part, if you make under $24,000 a year, you can put a postcard out and send it in, and you'll get whatever taxes you paid right back. Of course, the big argument is the one that they didn't answer during that interview, and that is on real estate. For a very long time, there's been a deal made with the devil, and that was being able to deduct local taxes so that you could shift money from one area of the country to the other. If you take local taxes in, then that's never split up with the rest of the people in the country. And of course, a lot of people like that. Basically your northeastern states and California, a handful of Washington and Oregon. So basically, one of the best descriptions I've heard of the United States is the left and East Coast, or the West and East Coast, are parentheses, and the country is inside of it. Anyway, got that. We've got a little bit of news probably coming out tonight on an election in Virginia. Virginia, the very north end, is the very definition of the District of Columbia swamplands. They are all thick as thieves in the first 20 miles inside the line. Most of those people work in Washington, D.C. It'd be like working for General Motors and someone saying something against it that didn't mean more money for the company. So those are 92%, 95% pro-large government areas. But the more important thing is whether or not we get a read on whether or not we could see what shouldn't be a very close vote. come in very close. But of course, last year we were told one thing, and the actual opposite happened. Can we believe pollsters now in this election? So we're going to have some answers about that. But I think people are going to kind of try to read the tea leaves in it. But as long as it's kind of close, probably no change with the tax bill. If we see some kind of massive blowout on either side, you might see some people thinking that they may have an inside line on whether this tax bill actually passes. And again, I'm just thinking of the next few days, not the next month when it goes to the Senate. But if you wanted to believe that Mr. Ryan was speaking the truth in his interview, for the most part, it sounds to me like he thinks he has this wired. Now, maybe he's wrong, but Wall Street has started to move in the options in the last day and a half, where they think at least into the next 30 days in options are basically thinking that, yeah, they've got it at least in the House to pass, and then they'll send it to the Senate. But who knows when those guys actually get to work on it. So probably a little bump in the next few days when they do vote on it. It was originally going to be voted on Thursday. I don't know about that, but my guess is that that's probably going to be pushed back. We've got a lot of earnings. A lot of those were vast and huge disappointments. We'll look at those. And, of course, we'll take your phone calls at 877-927-6648. In the meantime, we got to get a little bit of history going.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1980, actor Steve McQueen, one of Hollywood's leading men of the 1960s and 70s, and the star of such action thrillers as Bullitt and The Towering Inferno. Man, was The Towering Inferno just a stinking mess. But that's what they put out at this time. Dies at the age of 50 in Mexico, where he was undergoing an experimental treatment for cancer. In 1979, McQueen had been diagnosed with cancer, a type that often is related to asbestos exposure. It was later believed that the rugged, handsome actor, who had an affinity for fast car and motorcycles, may have been exposed to asbestos by wearing racing suits before they had Nomex. Now they have Nomex, and very good stuff. I've got a couple racing suits with a Nomex. Of course, my introduction to him was seeing some of those movies when I was young. I didn't think that much about them when they were young. I've watched them a little later. They're kind of interesting. But to me, he made a movie in 1971 that would change my life and what I wanted to do. I didn't see it until 1975 or 6. It was called On Any Sunday. It was a motorcycle. It was a kind of a love letter movie about motorcycles, made by the same guy that made the surfing movie. And since I lived in the middle of the United States, I didn't think I was surfing. But it sure looked like motorcycles were a ton of fun. Started playing with them and racing them. Had a lot of stuff, but I don't know if I would have gone down that road without On Any Sunday. Great movie still today to watch. Just the pure fun of going out there and blasting around on motorcycles. Just never that kind of fun and anything else. Maybe motorcycle racing, but that's it. We'll be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And what do we have going on here? Well, it's certainly, well, we're off almost 4 points on the S&P cash. What else do we have? Oh, first question we have, someone wanted me to take a look at Priceline and see what we thought. We've been talking about this one possibly making an ABC down. Never really gave us a clear signal, and the options were ridiculously expensive, so I stood away from this. But we did talk about this as a possible ABC a couple of weeks ago when this came right back up and filled part of the gap on October 18th. What you had was, and also what I did not like was that the energy off this August 29th low didn't really, up to the 1961, come off enough. I would have liked to see a little lighter volume out there to pull the trigger, but certainly you came down on huge volume of 2 million shares. You came in up and filled it with 400,000 shares on October 18th. That set up the 1-to-1. Now, if you look at it on the bigger scale, the 1-to-1 comes to 166.7. So what is that? $1,667. We got to $1,665 already today. So you got your 1-to-1 out here. You got all the volume in the world. This is broken through. We've talked about this 3-gap possible play to the downside, and that's kind of where we were looking for this thing to come. So would I buy it? No. But is there a whole lot more probably down here? And we'd have to have probably the tax bill fail. But my guess is that this is somewhere around where support should be. Let's take a little longer look at this. And yeah, I mean, you really, the next gap down is about 1425, and maybe $1,500. So if you do lose this, you're probably back down into the $1,500 level on Priceline. Okay. Questions all about racing in the den. The big problem was that they didn't have the gas tanks were just metal, and they burst in accidents and spray the gasoline all over everybody. Eventually, they came out with these gas tanks that are basically filled with a big rubber bladder. Those came from military aircraft so that they could accept gunfire and not catch the wings on fire. And those came later, but those are all mandated in every race organization that I know of. You've got to have the bladdered tanks in there. But you know what? I'm wondering also whether or not it was all the movies he did about racing, because that's when he got into racing. Him and Mr. Rockford. I'm just drawing a blank right now. Both of those guys were in that movie about 1968, and they may have put those guys in Vestas suits back then. But I think he raced from them. Jim Garner, yeah. Both of those guys were big racers. Jim Garner ran into a wall, and if you ever watched the Rockford Files, he had a tendency to limp around a lot because he busted up his knee in 1971 or 2 in a Formula One race car, and he never was right. So he always kind of hobbled. You'd see him kind of skip and jump in the Rockford Files most of the time, but he did all his own stunts in that Firebird. I always liked that part too. Okay, so what else do we have? We got the price line. It's come down here to what should be fairly decent support. You've come down a monstrous volume. Is anything going to change in this thing? It just was wildly expensive. I don't see anything happening. But, you know, the big thing that we've been talking about the last few days is we're now into the area of tax selling. And in tax selling, it means that for the rest of the year, every time this thing busts up $10, you're probably going to have somebody that wants to tax sell this thing out. I mean, for the most part, you're going back to this gap of February 28th of 2017, this year, and everybody's in a losing position that ever bought back to the beginning of the year. So that's it. Yeah, I knew some people that did some hydroplane racing. They're doing that too. Everybody wants to talk about racing today. Not a bad day to do that. But what else do we have? Of course, there were many of these stocks out here that got hammered after earnings last night. There was about 1 for every 3 to the downside. It didn't seem a lot of stocks just going sideways. Did want to go back and look at one, ESTY, Etsy, if I can actually type it correctly, ETSY. This is one, it had been kind of an interesting stock. It has bounced let's get rid of some of these things so we can see this a little clearer. This did bounce, but kind of gave it up. Things are a little bit better. I was not surprised to see this thing roll over. A lot of people in this IPO, I've called it kind of the hippy-dippy stocks because most of the people that are involved in making artistic crafts one-off, the problem is they just won't make enough of them. So this company really never really makes escape velocity. But kind of an interesting IPO. A lot of people kind of look at this as Craigslist. Same kind of thing. Everybody's very San Francisco-ized in the community of Etsy. And they kind of, if they do too well, they're just not happy. They just, you know, we got to make our things and we've got to make our hacky sacks and all our other art projects. Things have gotten a little bit better. But seeing this thing roll really didn't surprise me. Again, a lot of people have been in this stock for a long time. Probably took an opportunity on a day where there was someone buying on the opposite side of this thing. But that's always one of these companies that you have to worry about. Facebook had it in the early days when Mark Zuckerberg said he was unconcerned about profits. when the stock got in half, he got interested in profits. Same thing on this one, except it's never really done that horribly, never done that well. But one of these stocks where your business is pretty much to make profits so that your shareholders can either take a increase in equity or a cash out of the company every 3 months in the form of dividends. This company just has never been that way. And hats off, tip of the cap, nod of the head to Craigslist CEO and owner, who just said he never really wanted to go through all of this. And he didn't want to make a company that was all about making money. Well, you don't go public. And I always wondered why Etsy went public. It is the Craigslist of crafts. We'll be back in a minute.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. Mallinckrodt off today, and the numbers on the scourge of the United States right now, which is hydrocortisone and other opioid drugs. These sales were down 42% and 38% respectively from a year ago. One of the reasons why these things are down is the pill mills got shut down. And what happened when the pill mills, especially here in Florida, got shut down was that they started running fentanyl across the borders. In fact, China is the biggest supplier of fentanyl. If you've listened to any of the news, you know that the problem with it is it's so strong that it's very easy to get go from a decent dose to a overdose level, especially when these people don't know what they're doing or don't have any way of testing the drugs. But China has got a lot of chemists making a lot of fentanyl, and for the most people in the drug business, it's become the easiest way to get this kind of stuff inside the country. And so even why it is harder to get traditional pharmaceutical drugs, we've seen, of course, the scourge of overdoses in this stuff. But we've cut that off only to see the numbers for Mallinckrodt down. But at the same time, huge amounts of unknown quantities of fentanyl in heroin products. Basically, I saw articles on Friday, we're way above the maximum death rate at the very height of AIDS. And that was, you had about a year and a half where people were just dying and falling over everywhere with AIDS, and we're actually above that with no real solution in sight. And I don't know if these people are just going to Darwinize themselves out of the market, and eventually people that do this stuff just don't exist anymore. But certainly one of the bigger problems out here. But even cutting that off hasn't anything but dropped Mallinckrodt's price even lower in that business. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. There was some other stocks that I wanted to get to. I just trying to remember which ones they were. Got my list out here. Well, Weight Watchers is another interesting one. I didn't really know what to do with this pre-earnings. Oprah has not lost any weight over the last year and a half that she's been the face of Weight Watchers, but it may not matter to people that kind of follow what she does. She's a familiar face, and that's probably all that matters. I'm just wondering how somebody is the face of something, but they don't do very well on it. But apparently she slims down, makes some ads, and gains all the weight back. But certainly made a ton of money. She's got a big amount of options in shares at about $12, and it's done nothing but really go up. What, it popped 100% the day that she signed up for this, and continues to do well. Her name is one that can sell a lot of different products, and this one is one. But the question is just how far this goes. Now, one of my favorite stocks was Round Robin. Let me put it this way: places to go eat. Cereal malt beverages, that's beer for you people in Lutz, Florida, has done well. This thing, I tried to get into it before, and I think we played it for a day or two, and just never ever acted right, and then kind of collapsed again. And I think I got out of it with $1 or $2 a loss. Never really was a big deal. Never could find the hook on it, but it kind of looked good for a while. This is kind of a fairly decent surprise. And one of the things that we do look at is whether or not any of these retail restaurants are doing very well. And one of the things that you really want to always check out is a company called Cisco. And we're not talking about the router company. We're talking about, what is it, SYSCO, which is actually the symbol SS, or excuse me, symbol S, is it YS? SYY, excuse me. I wanted to get to that one here today. The reason why is when you look at this company also getting hammered today, these guys, if you ever sit there and watch a restaurant with a big semi in the back of it, it's always going to have a Cisco sign on it. There was one company for a while that kind of tried to compete with these guys, never could. I actually have a friend that works for these guys and has for 25 years. They don't pay a lot, but I think he's got a pretty good retirement thing finally set up. So, anyway, Cisco, of course, the other little company out here. But this is, if you're thinking about restaurants and buying any restaurants, what you really want to do is see this company kind of base out and find a base. It's probably the canary in the coal mine for these restaurants. And, you had your pop yesterday down and again today. But looks like these are going to come back. And again, tax selling on these are going to mean every time someone pops this one a little bit, sellers get off of it. You're probably going to find more sellers just slightly higher. These things are probably not going to be able to do well until next year. And that's one of the things that is statistically one of the more interesting parts of the market. And that is that tax selling tends to exhaust all the sellers at one point before the end of the year. A lot of times these things are fairly decent buys coming into the first part of the year, not restaurant stocks, but just stocks that have been totally washed out by tax selling and selling into the end of the year. So even though you see these things blow out today, we're going to get some light volume. There are going to be sellers on these things all the way through the end of the year. But one of the highest statistical inferences for a stock that's going to bounce is one that actually came out of the S&P 500, because everybody had to sell it. Other people had to sell it. Everybody had to sell it. And then it became an actual fairly decent buy in the stock. And a lot of people have followed a pattern of buying stocks that have come out of the big indexes briefly after they've left and moved, as everybody has had to sell them, whether they wanted to or not, in those ETFs, making a very low artificial price in many of these companies that have been formed or forced out of the indexes. So there's a handful of things out here that you may want to look at, but these stocks that are selling now pretty hard, it's going to be kind of tough. I'm not putting biotechs in this thing because they can come out with a piece of news that'll change everything. Restaurants, nothing's going to change overnight in these things. But we've seen some stocks do well, like Buffalo Wild Wings and Wingstop. But most of these companies have not done well, and we're seeing that in Cisco today.
Hi folks, this is Tom O'Brien. If you'd like to be the bank and get the type of interest they receive instead of the low interest rates they give to clients, then I have an investment you may want to take a look at. I'm offering 4-year secured first mortgages on buildable city lots in St. Petersburg, Florida. The investment can be anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000 per buildable city lot. The interest paid is 7% per year, paid monthly. Depending on the investment, the income per month per lot ranged from $175 for a $30,000 investment to $437.50 for a $75,000 investment. If you are in the CD market, you want to look at this investment. St. Petersburg is located in Pinellas County, which is the densest county in Florida. If you're looking for an investment with your principal intact that pays a good interest rate, this may be for you. The supply is limited, so act now. For more information on these secured first mortgage opportunities, you can call me at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190. Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Car companies, seems like there's an absolute ton of these things. You've got your second big gap down on TrueCar, TRUE. This one, it looks primed to probably bounce back up to 1350, and then you would be wanting to look for this thing in the in a three gap to the downside play. You've got your first gap here. It's 19 bucks. Of course, you got the second one out here today, and my guess is the next gap down on this one takes you back in below the $10 range out here. But two big gaps, third gap probably coming in TrueCar. What else do we have? So that'd be a no touch for a while on that. What else did I have out here? A few more. Blue Apron, of course, this is the company that is probably the poster child for Amazon's antitrust suit that will be coming fairly soon, in my opinion. Anyway, Blue Apron down again. There's no real signal on this other than the fact that this thing continues to go to new post-IPO lows. This thing didn't come out very well. They forced it out. You always have to watch when they drop the price of an IPO. The question is whether or not they can survive long enough before maybe the government starts looking at the antitrust suits against Amazon. But it just doesn't. This seems like Amazon's going to have to gore someone's sheep, or what is it, goat? Sacred cow? Maybe that's a better analogy. Amazon's going to have to stick somebody's sacred cow before the government's going to go after these guys. I figure that they will just eventually. Question is when. Amazon up here, a little spinning top on light volume today, but again, kind of hard to see this thing sell off before the end of the year. Everybody's in a winning position that's in this stock. You're going to have to truly convince these people to cough this up. One of the questions that I did get during the break, and you can always email me at path@tfnn.com, is would we have another 2000? And I think 2000 was significantly different because we had a drop in the capital gains rate, and it was monstrous. We have no change in that. But my guess is, again, the tendency or psychology is that if you have a winning hand, you get into Thanksgiving, that you probably are not going to give it up. I'm going to say 98% of the time, you're going to hold that to next year. Go ahead. If you're going to sell it, you sell it in the first few days of the year. And that's why, what was it, 2 years ago, we had a huge move down that I saw coming somewhere around Thanksgiving or even sooner. And knew that that was going to be the time to pull the trigger. I don't have anything that's market-wide like that, but I think that there are a few stocks where a lot of people would love to hold these things in the next year so that they have the entire year to pay their taxes back, especially when they're sitting on such huge winnings. Again, presidential assassinations, tax bill going down, no one knows the exact future. Maybe a nuke goes off in North Korea. A lot of these things could affect the market. But unless we get some kind of geopolitical event like that, my guess would be that you see these stocks slowly move higher. They don't have a lot of shorts, but they still have shorts. And the typical thing is just to see these things go up a little bit each day. It's cover, and everybody waits till the first of the year to start selling. Hold the winners, sell the losers. Yeah, no losers. So yeah, there's a lot of losers this year. So you've got a little bit, but I'm just saying overall, I'm not saying that the indexes have to go a lot higher, but we could see a very bifurcated market where no one will sell the biggest winners like the FANG stocks, and everybody sell the most horrible losers, especially the ones that we have here, especially the last week or so, and see those guys continue to sell those into the end of the year. There's a few more things on my list here. I just have to go through them. There's so many things. VRT, no, that's VRTE. Okay, someone wants me to look at Harmony, HMY, and that is a gold stock that reported last night. Or was it this morning? I think it was this morning. Not a lot of movement on that. Of course, you've got to look at gold on these. I'm trying to remember when anything other than the mine getting shut down because the government was taking it over. What was it? Crystal something that got taken over in Venezuela, and or they get sued for all the pollution that they created. It never seems to be much of an issue of earnings with these gold companies. It always has to do with some kind of legal and or political issue where they just take all their gold, run them out. Kind of seems to be one of these things. Anyway, gold's off $5.50 today. I don't think you can make a lot about Harmony out here today with gold being down $5. If it would have been up $5 and Harmony still sold off, I think you could make a lot. But kind of in the noise range here today, so I don't see a lot in that one. What was the name of that company? Down, yeah, J.P. Morgan, B, Goldman Sachs. Okay, financial stocks. It just seems to me like the thought of much higher interest rates are kind of fading a little bit, and maybe that's the new Fed president kind of coming home to roost out here, not thinking that he's going to move the ticker any faster than he needs to be. One of the things I haven't been able to find out, maybe someone in the den knows it. I know that they're going to be confirming Mr. Powell as the new Fed president, but when does he get to vote for the first time? What meeting? Because I can't actually find that out. I mean, if he gets approved in 2 weeks, does he sit there for the first time in January? Does he sit there immediately after confirmation? After February? I looked for it for 10 minutes today, and I couldn't find it. So Tom O'Brien in the Den saying yes after February. So that was one of the harder things. Normally you can find stuff pretty easy. I'm pretty good. Okay, her term's up in February. That makes sense. So maybe they just assume that I should know that instead of knowing that eventually. Anyway, thanks, Mr. Tom, for chiming in there. We'll be back for the amount of time. We'll talk about Apple. I had a few questions about that, and we'll finish up the show for the day.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Hi, folks, this is Tom O'Brien. Come join me next hour as we bisect and dissect these markets. Right here on TFNN. Wow!
I'm going to try to get all the Apple stuff in here before the end of the show, but I had a bunch of questions on that. What I thought about the phone. Phone's very nice. Is it worth the extra couple $100 compared to the Samsung phone? I'm an Android guy, so it certainly would be at least somewhat biased on that. I did look at the phone. I did read and watch the reviews over the weekend, went up to Best Buy and played with one. It's a fine phone. It's one of these phones, though, that if you drop it, you're going to be, you can spend $300 to $600 to fix it. It is fairly brittle the way that this thing's all made. The back, of course, is all glass if you haven't read about it. Some people are a little freaked out about it saving your face and whether or not a picture of it could actually unlock your phone. It's not really a full iris scan like the Samsung was at one time. This is much more like the Microsoft version. I'm not sure whether or not they pay Microsoft the patents on it, but Microsoft was the first to put in 2 cameras, one that was an infrared camera, one that was a regular camera side by side, and they would compare the two. The Apple phone actually has a deal. When you play with it a little bit, you'll see that it goes from the infrared mode to the actual picture image mode. But by doing that, just the blood vessels in your face and the way that the heat radiates on your particular face means that you can't just hold a picture up there and unlock it. A lot of questions about security in this. To me, the people that will probably dislike this the most are anybody that gets arrested, because of course all you have to do is hold it up to somebody's face and it unlocks. To me, is it a big deal? It's a great phone, but I'm going to say that of the people that were reviewing this, that were really Apple lovers, it's kind of, they're hot on it 1 minute, not hot on it another minute. But as we've talked before, there are companies that will see exactly how many of these things sell, so we'll know whether or not they can get production up. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. And we'll see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.